Introducing former UIU LA President and UIUConnects Project Manager, Kingsley Ufere. Woo!
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? So Ahambu Kingsley Ufere. I'm from R&D Zogo in the Dato North Local Government of Imo State. So thank you, Laura, for introducing me. So I'm going to touch real quick on my background before I go into the conversation that we're about to go into on the UIUConnects digital platform. So as Laura mentioned, I was the past president for LA. I helped found or start that chapter a couple of years ago. I'm now a member of the Houston chapter, and I also sort of share co-memberships with LA and Houston because I like to, keep touch and help support both groups. In my day life or my day job, I'm I'm a project engineer with Chevron. I'm also Chevron's lead recruiter for African American recruiting, focused on the NSBE organization for North America. So I try to dabble in a lot of different things. And so one of my other aspects of work that sort of helped push me in the direction of UIUConnects is I've been involved in organizational design and organizational capabilities work. So I think that's where a lot of my passion around the Connects platform came about. So I'm going to share my screen and then we can get started. Okay. Okay, so before I go into the case for change, I really want to highlight that the goal of this session or talk is, to really pinpoint and nail down that there are, a lot more ways that we can connect with each other in order to support each other in a way that really helps to build a thriving and sustainable Igbo society. Really showcasing our business culture and other strengths that we have. One big ilu that I'm really fond of is strength in unity, or gidigidi or strength in numbers. And I think, and I really appreciate that through the speakers that we've had who have done an amazing job, and the questions that have come in has really highlighted the importance of, leveraging on our strengths, leveraging on our numbers, and hopefully that's something that UIU as an organization can bring through the UIUConnects digital platform. So why did we, even consider doing this? And to give you some background, this has been in the works for, I would say, the past 2-3 years. It started as an idea of how do we connect our members to job opportunities. So that's actually where the name UIUConnects came from, because we wanted to connect. And we figured out that there's just so much more than job opportunities that we could connect. And so that led us to say, let's take a deeper dive to look at what other solutions can we solve. But to do that, we first needed to understand what did we need to change. So for folks that are not aware, who may not be part of chapters that are across the US, to give you some background, UIU as an organization started off in 2005, by the Anadu and Okbara families. And, it started off as an idea, a small group of people who felt that they wanted through organizing, promote Igbo culture, promote that sense of Igbo identity, right? And as they formed and came together, they realized, even if we're in Atlanta, we have to grow because there's so many Igbo people all across the US. Some may be cousins, some may be family, friends, but there's a lot of people across the nation that we could actually grow this organization with. And so in a short amount of time, UIU has now grown into 15 chapters across the nation. And so the truth is, that we're not going through such a rapid change, such that, we grew our number of chapters probably over about 50% in the past 4 to 5 years. And so because that growth is so rapid, and it's even expected to grow at an even more rapid rate, with the variety of technologies that we see, in the landscape right now, there's the TikToks, There's new things coming out each and every day that's helping us connect. And especially when we think about how much information is flowing and at such a rapid rate in the digital environment. And so we knew that we owed it to ourselves to be able to anticipate such growth and then create a structure that could allow us to take that volume that was coming. And so, I think one of the key things that we identified very easily was that, as a organization, and I try to sort of highlight that with the graphic I have there that says, strong center with equally strong and connected extensions. So we have a great national organization that serves as the hub for all the chapters. We have really good chapters. We have great chapters, but there's a lot of practices that are done in various chapters whereby things may be operated a little bit of like a silo. And, for folks who are in professional organizations that are part of professional groups that have, large scale representation across a large area, one of the things that you notice is there's a very systemic way about how the chapters are managed, about how the national body connects with those chapters, about how all the bodies interconnect with each other, either, whether it's through finance, whether it's through how the membership is managed. And so we knew, we cannot keep going at this rate. Even if we're doing a lot of great things with the chapters locally, with the convention, we had to develop a system and a framework to bring all of this together, to ensure that as many, we sustain what we have right now and create a path that can allow us, to keep growing at the rate that we need to in the next couple of years. And, for people that know me, I'm a huge data person. So I like data. I feel, data is key to any kind of system you want to build, any kind of organization. And I could speak on this, on data for about an hour, or no, I'm not going to do it here. And so being that I'm such a data hog, and, fortunately, UIU comes with a lot of data, whether it's from the chapters, whether it's from, the national body, whether it's through our social media engagements. And in some ways, all this data was not really, put together in a manner that we could take advantage of it, through whether it's data analytics, different data science applications. And at the same time, however beautiful data is, data can also, make or break, whether it's an organization or an institution, as well as individuals. I think we all know that there's data privacy law that exists in the US, as are they in other parts of the world. We see issues happening from different kinds of hacks with people's information leaking. And so again, to be able to manage that growth, we said, how do we, take advantage of our data set that we have that's humongous, close to, 1,000 members across the US in all their different chapters, about 5,000 connections in our social media landscape. How can we take advantage of data to make sure that we're doing it the right service, and at the same time protecting that data? I know, some of the speakers talked about wealth distribution, and so how do we even know how to take advantage of creating that kind of environment that can sustain wealth distribution if we don't even know some of the capabilities of our members and know who to reach out to, know who to support? So the data aspect of it was a big deal. And then, I can't belittle how much social integration plays a role within our environment. I think at the age demographic that we are at right now, a lot of us are connecting on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, on a variety of platforms. And so UIU at this, at the time when we were looking at this, just did not have that kind of digital environment to allow us all to connect. And then when you start connecting, that people have businesses. Obviously, they have services that they want to provide. There's so many different monetization options. I mean, Igbo, in the Igbo, we are business people at heart, right? And so we said, how do we take all this data, create that right environment, whether it's for our members to work with people outside our membership, whether it's for people outside our membership to work with our members, but to help us grow our businesses, grow our services, grow our professional capabilities. And so that was, so that's part of why, we were looking at UIU Connects and determined that there was a serious case for change. And then the last thing I want to just talk about is the need for rebranding. As any organization, there's always a time when you say, okay, let's look at things. It's time to refresh things a little bit. So you may have seen our logos changing, some of our fonts changing. That's just part of the experience. We wanted to, at the same time, since we're launching a new environment, let's use that opportunity to also perform a refresh. So I'm going to run through this very quickly. I think it's very self-explanatory. I think one of the goals I was trying to get from this conversation is, since we have not launched this product yet, and it's getting close to being launched, and once we start giving information about some of the features and capabilities, we also want to get feedback. So I will try to run through this aspect of what Connects is. I think I probably properly framed the issues we're trying to solve. So it's fairly clear what we came up with. So I'm trying to get more insight as questions come in, either how folks can take advantage of our platform, or also how, maybe we haven't seen something yet, and there may be a chance to improve on something before we launch. So what did we think about? We said, okay, with all these different things, let's come up with a digital environment that works, whether it's on, your web browser, on a mobile device, iPad, iOS, Android, give that breadth of compatibility, right? Where we can manage our membership, to the best of our capabilities, and then where we can also provide excellent features like a business directory. I know we've received so much feedback from all our chapters, from a lot of our chapter members about how do they advertise their businesses. How can someone in Atlanta that's visiting Houston for a weekend, she's coming for a wedding, want to have hair done, nails done, or a guy that wants to get his hair cut by a local Igbo person, or wants to get traditional items made. So typically what we not traditionally would do is we're reaching out to our networks, people that we know, but we so we thought about it with a business directory. It gives us that opportunity, whether it's across our chapter members, whether it's other people that are not even in our membership, to be able to advertise their products and services, and give our members the abilities to tap into these products, give our members the ability to monetize their products, and not just to the members themselves, but also to the public as well. And then there's so many other features that I'm not going to go through again, because I want to make sure I'm taking in questions more so. So there's classified ads, which I think it's self-explanatory. We have, we're going to have Connects channels, which is for people who are familiar with Slack, which is like Slack channels where you can group, everyone in certain, that have certain interests can be grouped into certain chat channels. People that have experienced the previous conventions that, were active on, I can't remember the name of that platform, but we're active on one of the platforms that we use for the events. There was a lot of conversations going, but it wasn't just at the chapter level. We're able to combine those conversations based off of interests, whether it was based off of chapters, but also nationally. So that's one of the, I think, really cool things that the UIUConnects platform will bring as well. And then, as I mentioned before, several other traditional things that we should have been doing, but now we have the opportunity to try to implement, like forums, committees, integrated events where we all know what we're all doing. I know a lot of chapters, sometimes you have to reach out to different chapters. Hey, what are you doing? But the integrated events helps us have an idea what every chapter is working on, so we can properly plan. And then a big area which is coming in the future is I have e-learning tools on there. And so we are looking into how do we provide Igbo language classes through a platform that we're managing, working with all the chapters to promote it in such a way that we're building that Igbo fluency across our chapter members. So I think that's really what I wanted to talk about. The big news with it is that it's going to launch. It was supposed to launch today. Due to some hiccups we had with the mobile app, we pushed the launch date to the end of August, very early September. But I can't tell you enough how excited I am that this is coming to fruition after 2 years. If you have any questions regarding the UIUConnects platform, outside of this that may not get answered here or after this conference, please email the UIUConnects@umibounite.com. And if you want to be a member, and anyone can be a member, even if you're not a in a location where we have a chapter, anyone can be a member because we have a national membership, and so our goal with this, and I really like that we are using this opportunity for the virtual conference where we're connecting with people across the globe to also introduce UIU Connects, because other folks can also get involved, whether it's through marketing their services or some of the other features I mentioned. But our goal is to connect our members better and connect our members with everybody else. So with that being said, I'm going to look in for questions in the chat box right now.
And while we're looking into questions, Kingsley, just wanted to say thank you so much for your dedication to UIU Connects. We really appreciate all the work and effort you and your team have put towards this launch.
You're very welcome, Ijoma. Okay, so I'm looking at the chat room. I'm trying to identify some questions. Okay, so someone says, so Kano says, so his guess is that the goal is to, or Kano, I'm gonna let you speak. So I'm gonna unmute you, or I guess he's unavailable now, but so Kano says that his guess is that the goal is to maintain a database that, who may have access. So his question is, who's gonna have access to this information and database? How do we verify that the information collected and maintained are accurate as possible, garbage in, garbage out? So I think that's an excellent question. And so I think if you heard what I had mentioned earlier about, being a data guy, so one of the things that I want to highlight, and this is to provide the guarantee to folks who are already in the system, because a lot of our members have started being put into the system either through through some upload means, or they've joined through their chapters. So one of the things that we really went through when we were vetting the company that we ultimately decided to go with was their capabilities to provide security. And that's on the data side, because we don't want to collect all this information and tomorrow, they say, or the Russians have hacked or something happens and we lose data, because that, in essence, our brand gets hurt and punished, and that damages the relationships that we have with our members. And so we, I would say privacy and protection, data protection was one of our top goals. And so the company Club Express, and I'll be vocal about saying that, so folks who want to go research more. So Club Express uses a extensive encryption system to not just only maintain the database that they have, but also to interface with other governmental entities like the FBI, like the CIA, in the event when there are any kinds of breaches that may not even be related to their space. So they just understand how that happens. And so, again, being a data person, it was something I really wanted to make sure that going into the system that everyone felt that their information was, protected. And then on the accuracy side, so we have, fortunately, we have people who have been helping out with the effort. So there's chief admins, I would say global admins at the national level, and then there's local admins. And it's the responsibility of the local admin and the chief admin to go through our database. And so we've provided reporting tools where we can look in if we have questions. And I think it's excellent because one of the things where this system actually started showing some results is, I think we had an instance where we identified someone who may not be in the age demographic that we typically target. And so for us, it's something that we want to know, because we throw events that may have alcohol, for example. And we want to know who is coming to these events, who are we seeing our members that are allowed, and we're a demographic that targets 21 and above, right? And so with the level of reporting and data transparency that the system allows, it gave us the opportunity to, as quickly as we identified it, we started doing more data mining and digging to see, are there other instances where we may have folks who may have gone, falling out of the loop of the questionnaire system, right? And that we needed to take some kind of action on, based off of not fitting within the demographic that we target. So I know there's a question from Daniel. Can someone help me unmute Daniel? That I do want to hear. Okay, so I'm going to unmute Daniel. He raised his hand.
Yes,
So Daniel,
thank you.
Could you share your question?
Yes, thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, Kingsley, for the excellent presentation you've done. My question is this. I don't know if, as part of the app development, that more content will be pushed on board. Why I say this is some of the sentiments people have said. It's not just to collect people's data. People need to know whatever app that they have on their system is very important or strategically important to moving forward. And I agree with you that digitalization is the new reality and is the new fuel. Are there ways to add value to the content that will be on the app? I'll give you an example. For instance, an app that can pinpoint where Igbo doctors are currently residing, an app that can showcase exhibitions that Igbos will have, an app that can notify people of good Igbo events that they can add on board. Then thirdly, as an IT person, are you also suggesting to the team on how we can have like an innovative exhibitions that are driven by Igbo people? What I mean is, an Igbo person is involved in an innovative work. How can we showcase that stuff? Are you discussing with your team to have solely an exhibition for innovative work for Igbo people? I'll be very happy if I can get that feedback. And great job. It's my first time. I'm completely proud of everybody, and God will bless you all. Thank you.
So we really appreciate your question and participation. I will tell you that I've been seeing you fairly active in the chat box. I definitely appreciate it. So I'm going to start from your last question. I will try to answer that and then move all the way back. So regarding whether we are taking taking advantage of Igbo people that are coming up with innovative ideas. So I will tell you definitely yes. So because the idea of connecting or of UIUConnects is to build a better future for all of us as a society, as Igbo, whether it's here, whether it's in Nigeria, but we can't do that if we don't know what we're doing, right? And so last year we started off with a pitch competition series, which was tagged the UIUConnects pitch competition. And for those who are familiar with pitch competitions, you would pitch an idea, whether it's in inception, whether it's already going through some kind of acceleration process that's already being developed. And then we brought in some big minds in the venture capital investment and startup space to assess all these ideas that were submitted, pre our 2019 convention. And essentially those ideas competed against each other. So one, we used our social media to promote even the folks who did not make the final list, right? But we're forthcoming with those ideas. We used our social media environment to promote those things. And then the folks who went through the final stages, we promoted their videos, which talked through their idea. And then the person who ultimately won it, which the judging came, was through the folks who invested in this effort, right? Which UI was a big player. And so the winner got a lump sum of money, I believe it was about $2,000 or $3,000, as well as the opportunity to connect with some of those big minds. And the intent this year, if we were going to have a physical convention, we were going to do the same thing again. So we were going to bring all these Igbo minds with, a lot of great ideas and promote them, because we want to know, and we got a lot of feedback. Oh, we didn't know about this product. Now we came to this convention, we're going to connect with this person afterwards. And we started, so we created that environment that even if we have this digital platform that was coming, we understood that we needed to be very tactical with our approach, because we had to start building that environment, whether it's in the digital landscape, whether it's physically. And so that's how we do it in that sense. So on your other question on whether the app can grow, it definitely can grow. The goal for the Connects platform is to be like a living work list, right? So it's a living device. As things come up, as I mentioned, with us looking at implementing Igbo classes in the Connects platform, that's not something that's going to start off right now, but it's going to be coming up, in the future. And so we do want to start taking in ideas from people. So you can, email the UIUConnects email, because we want to take those ideas coming in, because we know that there's room for improvement. But as I mentioned before, we need the numbers. So we need everyone. We need you to be interested, participate. We can't, it's not just a UIU problem to solve. It's an Igbo problem to solve. Whether or not UIU comes with one idea, we need the support from everybody, right? Who wants to play a role in this? Advertise your business. We want to help you showcase what you're offering, whether it's outside of our chapter space, whatever it is. So I think with that question, I know we are at the end of the presentation. Like I said, just be excited. Look forward to this app being launched. And there's a very important question I want to answer before I close the conversation. Someone is saying, is this app only for duly paid members? So a lot of the benefits, as I had indicated earlier, are only for paid members, but there's still a lot of opportunities for non-members to also participate in, to help, again, build that environment that, that takes advantage of the synergies that we all have to promote what it is to be Igbo and build our businesses, grow our competencies, become even better at what we know we were made to do. So with that being said, thank you, everyone. I'm going to pass it on to Laura to then move us into our break rooms to continue the conversation. And I cannot wait for what the rest of this conference holds. I am super excited, and I've already learned a lot, and I am looking forward to learning a lot more from yourselves and from all the rest of the speakers. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's right. Odara says that UIUConnects is a game changer, and I agree. Thank you, Kingsley. I hope everyone who is interested in this initiative invests in it. We are all about utilizing the rich social capital of Igbos in the diaspora in order to make a difference in our communities here and in Nigeria.